Woohoo! Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday. It's 10 a.m. Sunday, November 6th. I'm tired, man. I'm exhausted today. It demonstrates to me that I need at least a day of rest, and it probably has to be Sunday, because more often than not, I might be DMing on Saturday. And I'll tell you, dungeon mastering takes it out of me. I guess maybe if I did it a different way and I was more prepared and more capable of preparing and organizing, that this might be better. But gosh golly, you can even see that there's a little bit of mess because all my Dungeons and Dragons stuff sort of exploded because I had to get it all out and figure out what I was going to do and grab all the things. And then during the game, I kept running it back and forth because unexpected events happened. I had to keep getting grabbing monster minis and shit. Man, we had a fun session yesterday. Okay, so this is the Daily Brew. This is episode 2. I'm brewing some tea. Not recording any other primary videos today. Later this evening, I'm going to be speaking with Ed from Psyculturists, and we'll be having a back and forth discussion about a number of topics. I hope that I could be awake for it. I'll make sure that I wake up for sure. The tea will help, I'm sure. And it being at 6 p.m. is gonna be fine. And hoping beyond hope that a superhero might show up and save them when they're supposed to be the superheroes. So that's interesting. That's interesting. It reflects on me. It means that as a dungeon master, I haven't done a very good job of expressing to my characters the nature of the game that they are playing. Because the nature of the game that they are playing is not a game where there should be pre-written solutions to problems, where the answer is to find the solution to the dungeon master's problem. Or that it's a puzzle, and if you just figure out how all the pieces fit, you'll be able to understand. Because the game is a facsimile for real life. And real life doesn't offer obvious solutions to obvious problems. It offers complicated problems that are nigh impossible to understand themselves, which is why there's so much of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that's dedicated to failing to answer the problem of the life, the universe, and everything, specifically because the question has not been articulated effectively. And that seems precisely correct. So what's then the goal as a dungeon master? I think the answer is something along the lines of generating an intriguing problem space for your characters to make critical, ethical decisions inside the framework of. And to some extent, they did. To some extent, they did make critical, ethical decisions. But I don't think I gave them, just because of the nature of the party and the nature of the timing, I don't think I gave them enough rope to hang themselves. I didn't let them get to really dire straits, but I did let them get the fear inside of them. Because I killed one party member, and I downed another, and the others were starting to run. And it's in that moment of despair, as the paladin goes unconscious, and the horrifying cockroach lord uses his forelimbs to slash up the limp body of our artificer and give him the death saves that he needs to push him over the edge. It was in that moment where I started to see real fear on my players' faces, and they started to look at each other and go, do we have to run? Do we have to get the fuck out of here? Because they're a party that hasn't really had to run from things, and I think they're going to have to run from things in the future. Do we just run? That was when the timer that I had set in motion ticked over, and the most powerful wizard in this half of Faerun pops into existence and begins solving the problem effectively with sheer brute power. And then heralds the 4 of them as heroes. And that's really what I was getting to. Was a moment where they were cowardly and afraid, and they still fought. and then they get called heroes. And I hope it irks them a little bit, because while what they did was incredibly heroic, each of them knows that they were also afraid. And that contradiction, I hope, will drive some interesting change in them. Oh, to be clear, the party member who died is back up. One of our party has Revivify, is a druid and has Revivify, so no sweat. Just a couple of weird visions. And a couple of newly dropped plot hooks that are deeply compelling to some of my players, I think, and that pleases me immensely. Because the wizard who showed up and cast her last wish in order to close this portal was Laryl Silverhand, and she has a flame-tongue longsword. And I decided to make that flame-tongue longsword one of a number of swords that are very important that were manufactured by the mentor of my artificer, and that he has been seeking the meaning of for years because he just has a fractured hilt of one of those blades. He doesn't know what it is. And now he sees that she has one, and he doesn't know what it is. Very cool. Very fun. The thing about the encounter that I built is, it was a problem that was going to get bigger if nobody stopped it. That is, somebody poked a hole in reality, and then reality began to split open on its own. Left unchecked, that slit, that slice, that razor blade cut would be like when you pierce the tape on top of a box, and suddenly you can just pull the whole thing open. Or better yet, when you make a tiny slice in a Ziploc bag full of water and it pushes it out and it opens the hole bigger as you push the water through. And that's exactly what was going on, because there is pressure on the other side of and where it opened to was an endless realm of the abyss, and it wants to spill into our world, and it wants to get bigger. And the 4 rounds that my players spent preventing it from getting much bigger, killing the monsters that were coming out of it that would have started to spread and hide and go into wherever they could get and infect this city. The few rounds that they spent were the difference between Waterdeep existing as it has in the past and Waterdeep existing as a place that is marred by an enormous portal to the demon world that nobody can fix. Because things were going to come out of that portal that weren't going to allow a wish spell to go off if they could help it. It was going to get really, really bad. It already had gotten really bad. I went and grabbed a CR23 stat block for a giant goop monster that was it's like a homebrew thing for a Cthulhu abomination. I had that come out of the portal. After the Lord of Cockroaches CR13 with multiple CR5 minions against a level 7 party. There was no winning this battle. But the stakes in the encounter went from nothing, just going to go see a play, to the literal end of the literal world. My characters had to step up. If they had just run, it would have changed the world completely. And they don't even know it. That's not true. They do know it, actually. They know it to some extent. They know that this was bad, bad, bad. And they helped it be only bad. Only a handful of people died. A handful of people were devoured by demons and stabbed by Chasmes and fucked by Bulazau and, all that shit. Just a handful. Instead of thousands. I thought that was pretty cool. So, beginning of a new day, beginning of a new channel, beginning of a new week, or maybe the end of the old one. I've never understood, is Sunday the first day of the week or the last day of the week, or both? feel like for most people, it feels like Monday is the beginning of the week because that's when you have to start doing things. And then Friday is the end of the week. And then the weekend is the end of the week. And so Sunday would be the end of the week. But I don't know. It still feels like a new beginning. Promare. I'm looking forward to talking about it a little bit more. And then wrapping it. And then moving the fuck on and getting to Paprika. That should be really fun. Poon Poon. God, that God, that manga is something special. Really an incredible work of art. Mushoku Tensei. I'm really enjoying that show, and I'm really enjoying picking it apart. And I'm really enjoying the different perspectives and the vitriol and anger and hatred that I get, and I see other people slinging at each other just because not everybody understands the thing the same way, and man, people would really like other people to understand the thing the same way that they do. I'd really like other people to understand the thing the same way that I do, but I'd also like to take whatever understanding that they have and just steal it. I'd like to take all of your knowledge about everything, and I would love to steal that shit. Please give it to me. Love it. Gundam. We did the second rewind, which wasn't really a rewind. It was more an investigation of some background information as provided by someone who knows far better than I do what pieces of background information I should be seeking out and what might color or inform my commentary moving forward into the future. And it did, and it was great. I don't know exactly what I'll do, but I don't know exactly what I'll do for Gundam, but I trust myself to come up with something in the next couple of days that will at least function. And that seems good. Cyberpunk Edgerunners has been brilliant. I have to watch episode 3. I'm behind now because I posted it, but Friday I had a doctor's appointment, and so I didn't record Cyberpunk Edgerunners because I was balls to the wall fucking freaked out, actually. Like, my anxiety levels were through the roof. And then after they released, after I did the thing and it was like, okay, it was just a drop back to baseline, so I didn't want to record. And today I'm real tired and I don't know if I want to record, so, and I want to prep for Ed later today. So I don't know if I'm going to record Cyberpunk today. I don't know if I can. I don't know what I'm going to do. Fuck. So this is the process, right? I'm getting some things in order, but I keep fucking things up. And one of the things that I fucked up is probably I should have figured out a way to record Cyberpunk Edgerunners before my doctor's appointment or something. But then I would have had to stack it with something else. I don't know. I don't know a solution. I'm nowhere near perfect. Not even close. But Cyberpunk. And then I need to figure out a way to get more Overdrive going. And then I want to split toward doing the Daily Brew on this channel, along with podcasting on this channel weekly or monthly or something. I haven't decided yet. And I want to start moving in a bunch of directions all at once and be willing to fail at all of them. I think that would be really good. So here's my blathery Daily Brew for Sunday. I'm tired as hell. I'm very pleased with the way my D&D session went. No idea how it's going to go next. But even when we're going to meet next, I don't think we can meet next week, so at least I'll get a little bit of a reprieve. But all in all, I think it's been a really excellent week, and I think I've made some really excellent content, and some not so excellent content, but I think I've made some really excellent content this past week. The full Poon Poon video, I think, was really good, and I'm proud of the way that the Mushoku went, and I'm really proud of the way that I addressed Zeta Gundam. I think I did okay, and it's a lot better than nothing, and I'm proud of myself for figuring out that I'm T and Tiabu, and that I can split them, and I can pull out the me from the Tiabu part and take that process of trying to comprehend and that process of speaking and thinking and talking and discussing, I can take that out and I can put it somewhere else. And so that's what this is. I've had a damn good week, and I'm proud to have done things properly, and I'm humbled by the mistakes that I've made. And I look forward to the next step in the iterative cycle as I head into the next week. So, my question to you, my audience, and I'm going to try to do these homeworks whenever I can, whatever you want to call them. My question to you, my audience, is something along the lines of, what did you do last week that you're proud of? And it's okay to be proud of yourself. What did you do last week in this past week that you've been proud of? And what are you going to do this next week that you think you might end up being proud of? And if you want to include anything you did this past week that you're not proud of, you can, but I think I'd like to focus more on those, what'd you do good? Maybe we could make this a weekly thing, like a Sunday Roses and Thorns or something, where we talk about how the past week has gone, what directions it went, and at least mention a couple of things that went well and maybe a couple of things that didn't go quite so well that feel like thorns or something that sticks. And in doing that, produce a habit of self and group evaluation and sort of put that in a place and have a place that is explicitly lined out and a box that is put around. This is the part where we look back. This is the part where we go back. Yeah. Something like that. So what did you do this past week that you're proud of? And what did you do that you're not so proud of? And what are you going to do next week that you're hoping that you'll be proud of? That seems useful. So there's your homework. I'm going to drink my tea and wake the fuck up. And I'm going to go down and stand out in the sun. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. We're going to go places on this side of the channel, by the way. We're not going to just sit here. We're going to do a lot. And I think it'll be really interesting. Thanks for joining me. I love you all. Peace. And I mean it.